the reality is that we are going through some dark times. Humanity has been for a while. I think if we think of sort of on the macro scale of the long-term scale of humanity, this last couple hundred years have been pretty rough in terms of trying to keep this idea of liberty alive, individual liberty, collective liberty, the pursuit of happiness, freedom of speech, these sorts of things, self-ownership. These are very young ideas in humanity's broader history. And, we've been enslaving each other, going to war, killing each other, rape. Like, this is, no matter what color skin you have, what language you speak, where you're at on the planet, our ancestors were involved in a lot of this stuff. And so it's been a dark history. And then we got to a point of sort of recognizing the idea of individual liberty. You can go back to Lao Tzu and the Taoists and see that they've been talking about liberty for a while. But let's say in the sort of verbalized, written, quote unquote, modern form, the Enlightenment, these ideas of liberty, right? It's caught on, but it's been a struggle the entire time. And here we are in 2024 with laws being passed to try to define our speech, calling it anti-Semitism, with facial recognition programs growing rapidly in all the airports and many public places, cities being surveyed in ways we've never seen before, 5G networks being rolled out, which are going to increase the amount of EMF exposure, as well as the ability for surveillance by governments and private hackers and police, et cetera. The idea of social credit scores, the increasing push towards digital currencies and digital identities. I mean, we're dealing with a lot. And I know that I've actually written about this and done videos about this, the 3 or 4 or 5 traps you can fall into. I'll link that video below. But there are traps that people come across that we can become apathetic. We can become black-pilled and thinking that things are hopeless or we're all screwed and so there's no solutions. Why bother? Nihilistic, right? Fatalistic. We can start falling into hopium and buying into false solutions and thinking QAnon or Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders or whoever is going to come save the day through the political system, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. There's these different traps that we can fall into. And this is why I'm emphasizing the importance of self-awareness, of healing, individual healing, and of balance. And if you can see my shirt here, this is actually a conscious resistance shirt. You are a creator. This is one of our newest ones. You can pick this up on the website. This is part of the message. You are a creator. You get to create moment to moment, day to day, your reality. And if we allow ourselves to fall into these various traps and to be bogged down, then yes, the world is a pretty dark place and there's no point in fighting. I guess things are miserable. Why should we bother, right? But if you wake up every day, despite knowing that there's bombs being dropped on innocent people in other parts of the planet, despite knowing that there's poison in the foods and the Lunchables, and there's poison in the water and the fluoride, and there's stuff being sprayed in the skies, and the digital IDs are marching forward. These are all realities. These are not things we should put our head in the sand that we should ignore. But if we still, even in that space, amongst that heaviness, find a way to tap into some joy, some excitement, some happiness, some just, pure joy to wake up and to give thanks for being alive. I know that that's what I experience. And I'm somebody who has battled depression for most of my life. And I had to find my own source of joy. And for me, part of it, my life has purpose because of this, because of my whole life is dedicated to journalism, to waking people up, to writing articles, writing books, producing documentaries, giving talks. This isn't a hobby for me. I've found a purpose, found something that gives me meaning. So I wake up every day grateful to be alive, to see how can I use my brain, my body, my heart, my mind, my spirit to contribute to humanity's awakening, and how can I help another person or be inspired or learn from other people and motivated to accomplish and achieve my goals in this beautiful, fucked up, crazy planet that we live in. And I think that that's important, as silly as that might sound to some of you, to find the simple joy in these moments, to wake up and give thanks to the existence that you have and to your family and friends or whatever it is that you're grateful for, even in those darkest times, even with the world as fucked up as it is. If we can find beauty in that, then maybe we can overcome the traps that say there's no hope, there's no solution, or there's false solutions. Follow this person, hero worship with this person. The real solution is by each of us recognizing that there is hope. While we're alive, there's hope. And we're alive, so there's still hope. And that part of that hope is that humanity can start to heal our collective trauma and our collective and individual pain so that we can get to a place where we don't need to try to separate and divide each other based on religion, based on your color is blue, yours is red, and your team is this and your team is that. Or you come from this nation, you live on this side of the river and you live on this side of the mountain. So we're different. And there's no way we can understand each other. Your skin color is different than mine. Let me be divided by 5th generation warfare that is constantly pumping fake news and even partially truthed news in front of me to make me feel this way or that way, and to have me following these trends or that trend or these celebrities, right? You have to regain control of your mind. You have to regain control of your heart. And that starts by healing. It truly is. You have a certain level of self-awareness. You recognize who you are. I'm in control. I'm finding myself. Life isn't perfect. I'd like to be somewhere better, but you're here. You're self-aware. Then when the propaganda comes in, you can stop it and say, does this make sense? Does this fit with what I know to be true and my principles and values? No, thank you. Or if it does, you take it in, you learn, you leave what doesn't work, and you take the best pieces and you keep growing as a critical thinker. And in that process as well, you're looking in your own heart. You're looking for your own trauma. We all have different situations. I'm not here to tell you what you've been through or what might have caused what in your life. I've been through having a drug addicted father and having struggling with trying to find self-love and self-worth in my life, and getting into drugs and depression and suicide attempts and prison and all this stuff. I had to overcome that. And I did so by finding that sense of self by, for one, I had to hit a rock bottom, and then I had to start looking for something bigger than myself. And I found it. I do believe in a creator. And I started meditating. I started praying. I started journaling and writing down the ways I was feeling and working on my healing. And the reason I'm sharing all this, guys, because this is the message of the conscious resistance. I do journalism, investigative journalism, but also my goal is to not only inform you, to empower you, but to get to a place where you recognize that we need solutions. And the solutions aren't in government, and the solutions, I don't believe, are in religion. The solutions are in finding your own healing, connecting to the divine in whatever way you will. I'm not going to tell you how to. And seeing that we have an opportunity, that we were put here on this planet, we have an opportunity to leave behind a better world for the coming generations. And to do that, we have to heal ourselves. We have to work on our own trauma. We have to be an example to the ones coming after us. We can be a living example right now to other people. This is what I strive to do, and succeed and fail at different times. To be an example of a human being who is working on his healing, who's working on his trauma, and who is succeeding at living a life based on values and principles that align with who I am, by not paying taxes, by not supporting evil systems, by not voting for evil people and playing lesser of two evils or three evils games, and by helping and healing other people where I can, and offering my insight, offering my lessons, and being a vessel for the creator. Essentially, I am just following the path that the creator has put before me. And I believe we all are, whether we recognize this or not. But 19 years ago, when I was addicted to drugs, I definitely didn't know what was coming for me. I definitely didn't have balance. I didn't have self-worth. I didn't have self-awareness. I wasn't healing at all. I was very hurt. And in fact, and it took for me to hit a bottom to start focusing on this, to developing self-awareness through prayer and through meditation, to starting my healing journey through different modalities, and by talking to my father, by journaling, by facing the things that I'd done and the ways I'd hurt other people. And then finding a balance amongst all the chaos, and knowing that I'm doing everything I can to bring light into this world, to bring good, truth, healing. And I'm being a man of my word, and I've made mistakes in the past, but I'm better every day, and I'm working every day towards being a better person, so that I can be a living example of a person who recognizes that I own myself, you own yourself. I will not do harm against you unless you do harm against me. You are free to do as you want, and so am I. Together we can collaborate, we can co-create and build a better world. That's the example I want to be. And for me, this is extremely important. This is just as important as learning about all the news that we've covered tonight, is to focus on how we can center ourselves, we can find balance, and we can find healing. So thank you guys for listening to that little bit of rant. Hey friends, this is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network. The clip you just watched is from my recently relaunched podcast, The Conscious Resistance Live. Now, I'm going to continue to release free clips every single week for those of you who follow me on social media platforms. But if you want to see the entire show, which is about an hour
hour and a half, 2 hours long, you're going to want to sign up to be a monthly supporter via Buy Me a Coffee or Substack. And every show I'm going to be sharing about 3 or 4 hard-hitting news stories that you're not going to see covered in the mainstream or the alternative media. We're also going to be featuring exclusive interviews, and we also have a segment called What's Derrick Reading, where I highlight some of my books behind me and share about what I'm reading lately and just offer my perspective. Finally, every episode is going to end with a music video from a conscious musician. So if you're looking to get inspired, looking for some new music, you're definitely going to want to check this out. So you can sign up at derrickbroze.substack.com or buymeacoffee.com/derrickbroze to become a monthly supporter to make sure you see every episode of the Conscious Resistance Live on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really couldn't do this without you. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free.